Cool. Yeah, so I'm Faraz, and yeah, thanks to the Granola folks for setting this up. I think it's yeah, maybe I was a bit nervous when I came here, but I just spent a few minutes just jamming with Jan and T-Con about raycast shortcuts, and it's like where else on the planet do I get to nerd out about that kind of thing? So yeah, thank you. All right, so this talk is called Embracing the Chaos, Spicy. And it's about building a utility-first design system. So a little bit about me. Yeah, so as I said, I'm Faraz. I lead design at Speakeasy, and I'm a design engineer. And I feel like being a design engineer should maybe come with like a health warning or something. What it means is I do dumb stuff like this, where it's I rebuild desktop UI from scratch, and if you give me an excuse, I will write a shader. I swear to God. Yeah, and some other random things that I've made recently. This button, which I legitimately, after talking with T-Con, I just went back to work and I think I might have spent a day on a hover animation, which is not something I ever recommend to anyone. But I'm not going to talk about any of those things today. For some reason, I have decided to talk about CSS. I've given one other talk in my life, and it was also about CSS. So I don't know why this keeps happening to me. But hopefully, I feel like this is a talk I needed a year ago, so hopefully it's useful for you guys. So yeah, recently we did this rebrand at Speakeasy, which is where I work. You can find some blog posts about it. And I don't know if you've ever done a rebrand, but when you actually realize the work you have to do, there's a part in the back of your head which knows all the different deep parts of your code base, which definitely don't use shared components. There's no single source of truth for updating anything, so I basically was shitting myself. So that was kind of like the problem. And yeah, maybe just a show of hands, who here you have a design system at the company that you work at, yeah? Okay, that's quite a lot of people. Keep your hand up if you feel it's you have 100% coverage. It's spotless. Every part of your company uses the design system. You don't have to tell anyone to use the design system. Yeah, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, that one. Cool. So what happened? We live in it's 2025. How are design systems not a thing and working? We have all this tech, and yeah, a kind of theory that I have is well, basically I asked AI to help me answer this question. Yeah, I wonder if you have any thoughts about what AI said. It's I'm pretty sure these stats are made up, and it loves purple. Why is it this? Someone put this into the world one day, and it's just there forever now. And what I'm poking fun at here is, AI loves Tailwind and ShadCN, and these things are great. ShadCN has made the web, more accessible, arguably just easier to use, and Tailwind is a dream in terms of a developer experience. But at least in our case, I don't think we wanted to look like those things out the box, because it feels like kind of everyone looks a little bit like those things. So how do we figure this? How do we try to tackle this at Speakeasy? Well, firstly, there was no chance in hell that we were going to build a component for everything that needed to be rebranded. Because in this day and age, it's it actually almost feels faster for someone to vibe code a thing than it is for you to stop and mock it up in Figma and these kind of things. And so you try to be the person who says, "Excuse me, do you want to roll back that thing that you just made?" When everyone can ship so fast now, the CEO, the product manager, it's just it's not quite sustainable. And so the the cheat code we tried to adopt at Speakeasy is what I kind of mentioned earlier is okay, so LLMs love Tailwind, and fortunately, Tailwind is actually particularly V4. It's pretty sweet. It's you just define these days. You define some tokens, and you can kind of get a theme that you can work with from scratch. And so the goal we kind of opted for here was basically what if instead of trying to fight the fact that there's a whole bunch of Tailwind being generated by LLMs and that they're much better at creating things than they are for searching and finding things from your design system, what if we kind of tried to short circuit this process and bury ourselves in it? And so the way we did that at Speakeasy was instead of thinking in components in these early days, we tried to define semantic tokens. And what that means is, obviously you could use shadcn, which does these things like gives you like BG primary, but personally, I feel like something like BG primary is like is very broad, and maybe someone who's like less like design focused, you try making them think about when to use primary versus secondary versus tertiary, and so what we opted for was like Tailwind. LLMs love Tailwind because it's basically compression. It's like how much info can we fit into like this small slice of a thing that we don't have to go looking for in another file. And so what we did was we opted for trying to like make a whole bunch of tokens that like explain to AI along the way, like this is what this is for. And so we dumped that all in our design system, Moonshine. And what that looks like practically is like we have this base CSS file, which is just CSS variables, tokens. This is like if you touch this file, I will hunt you down. You should, like, if you change like a HSL value in here, I will be upset unless there's a good reason. And then we have like a utilities file. This is what I was just touching on. Is like this is like kind of inheriting from that base CSS file, and this is where you kind of like define the names. And Tailwind again, it like makes this like super easy these days. You can use this @utility syntax. And then basically you sort of coalesce all of this into like a global CSS and then import this in like the consumer app when we have like a couple of those like at Speakeasy. So that's fine, but it's like it doesn't quite end there because as I said before, like you still LLMs still suck at going to find things, so it will still reach for that purple unless you kind of like try to give it at least a little bit of a hint. And so the way we've done that at Speakeasy is basically using, you can actually use like an agents.md file. So you can just point it to the utilities file and say, please, Claude or agent, look up the utilities before you try to reach for some random Tailwind color. And that's like worked like fairly well. I made these whole slides that way. They're like completely vibe coded, which is like ridiculous. Some of them are a bit broken and whatnot, but like it basically meant that like I got something that looked like Speakeasy by just following this practice. I had a set of tokens and I trusted AI to like go wild, and I feel like at least confident and use the right fonts and such. And so what I'm kind of getting at is like this doesn't mean we don't need design systems and we don't need components, and there's actually Figma just had like a whole conference which has talked about how design systems are kind of like changing and like they're kind of more, it's like all about context, right? It's like the buzzword that was at the conference. It's like what we're doing with design systems is shifting a little bit. It's kind of like giving AI a heads up of everything that's available and then hoping that it actually pulls it through. So yeah, it won't fix everything, but at least like kind of if some random person has an idea and they want to make a V0 or they want to make a Figma make or something, and you kind of have like these primitives in place, at least like it's 80% of the way there, and you might actually be able to ship it and then tweak it in production. So components aren't going anywhere. Obviously, you can, as much as people do try it on the internet, I don't think you can do everything in CSS. So we do still need to like bake some logic into some places in React or your JavaScript framework of choice. And this is like, I think, a way of like meeting people where they are. I think this is like the shift. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't remember the last time I like actually opened up some frameworks like documentation. It's like you're just in Claude and I can go ask it to search the web, or it happens to already know the answer. And I think this is kind of where things are headed from my experience anyway. That's kind of the gist. Actually, like the design system is open source. The product that I work on, Gram, which is like MCP tooling, is open source. These slides are on my site, and you can sort of follow me afterwards if you want to chat about colors. Cool. Thank you very much.